Hello there guys, what is going on? Son of Chelsea back here again for another video. And ahead of the game against Man City tomorrow night, I thought it'd be cool to bring on a Man City fan to get their perspective on the game. I like to do this a lot of the time, collaborations, and I know you guys like to watch these videos as well. He's a big Man City YouTuber, probably the biggest Man City YouTube channel now. Used to be on Blue Moon Rising TV, but he's got his own channel now, EsteemedKompany. Steven, welcome to the channel. Great to have you on, mate.
Good to have you, mate. Good to see you.
Defo, man. And it's interesting now with the Premier League restart, how intense it is, how rapid the games are.
Yeah,
How have you found it, these opening couple of games? Because you've already had two games, of course, this would be your third coming up again tomorrow.
yeah. It is weird. I know we're all going to say that, but it isn't the same as it was. And it is a kind of watered down version of football. It doesn't feel like it has the same intensity. But I'm the kind of guy who gets up and watches the preseason games when it's over in America and all that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of used to games with lower atmosphere, and I watch a lot of the academy stuff as well. And if anyone's been to academy games before, there's normally about 70 people there anyway. So you're kind of used to quiet environments. But you do miss that, I guess. You miss being there, I guess, and you also miss the intensity, and you can tell the games have almost like training kind of ground vibe to them. They're not quite the same. The players don't react to the surges from the crowd because obviously it does have an impact, and the momentum a team can get from the crowd being behind them, it isn't there. But it is football, I guess. And to be honest, given everything going on in the world at the moment, I was kind of torn. I was a little bit like, it feels a bit crass to start this, but a small part of me was thinking, well, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing City kick a ball again. And I have enjoyed watching Kevin De Bruyne be brilliant and Phil Foden being brilliant. And even though morally I'm torn a little bit in my head about it all, because I do feel that there are bigger fish to fry, so to speak, in the world, I have kind of enjoyed it. I'm not going to lie. It isn't the same, but it is a step towards something approaching normality, I guess. And it does remind you that you can still enjoy the purest, little simplest things in life. And football can be really, really fun. I think I've forgotten that. It's been 3 months. So it's nice to have it back, really, I think, overall.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think I was in a similar boat to you, and I've said this several times on my channel, that I think the Bundesliga was a massive turning point personally for me, of just being able to see a physical example of what football would sort of look like. I
Yeah.
think that was a turning point. I don't know if that's the same for you.
I didn't. I'll be honest. I watched the Bundesliga games, even though it felt passable. I just didn't enjoy it. I'm going to presume, I reckon, because there was no crowd noise and because there was less intensity, I struggled to get into anything that wasn't my personal team. If that makes sense. I guess when you love your club so much, you can. But I guess it's almost like with your family, how you can see past their flaws sometimes. I guess there was an element of that for me where I could. It didn't really matter that it felt weird and that we couldn't be there and all that kind of stuff. It's because I love Manchester City that much and they've been part of my life for 30 plus years. It's one of those things where I guess it didn't really bother me because I just wanted to watch Kevin De Bruyne or Aguero or whatever. Whereas when I tried to watch the Bundesliga, it didn't stick for whatever reason. But it could be because that love isn't there, so to speak. But it did show, at least, as you said, it did show that it did work technically. That there was football to be there and you can still watch football. And I know a lot of people did enjoy the Bundesliga games, but I think I needed a little bit more of the occasion, if that makes sense, to enjoy it, but which just wasn't there. And the German league is known for, especially when you're watching like Dortmund and that. It's known for the fans and it's known for the the yellow wall and all that kind of stuff. And I couldn't get into that. But yeah, I think it's because I just needed my personal club to be there to get over it.
I completely agree with you. I think on Sunday I was a little bit concerned about how a Chelsea game in this new environment would work with me personally, emotionally watching a game.
Yeah, yeah.
And I found very quickly in the first 10 minutes, I turned around to my dad who I was watching the game with and just said, actually, this feels normal. I'm now focused
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the pitch. There's no like looking out to the stand to
Did
see
you
if
have
there's
the
empty
fake crowd
seats.
noise on? I did
No,
personally.
I've actually stopped the crowd noise. I don't really enjoy the crowd noise as much, which I'm probably in a minority there. I enjoy more just hearing the sounds of
Yeah.
whether it's the ball or the satisfaction of hearing the ball, because you don't hear that in some grounds, or
No, I
the
get that.
players screaming to each other. That's something that I've enjoyed.
I found personally that he drew my attention too much to how weird everything is. You know what I mean? It's a little bit like, I want it to feel normal because it's kind of like a distraction at the moment. So even though I did start that way, I was like, I found myself getting distracted too easy as well because it was so quiet. Like there's times where I was thinking, it just feels a bit too strange for me. So even though it does feel a bit cheap, and one thing I've noticed, by the way, City have had 2 penalties now in 2 games. They have the fucking heartbeat sound from FIFA on. Like they literally have that playing. Like who? Oh, yeah, I can't believe they're doing that. It's terrible, cringy as fuck. But football.
Yeah, and well, the thing is about talking about this sort of new environment, new normal, whatever you want to call it, how weird it can be or feel watching it. I have to say, out of the teams I've seen so far, Manchester City have undoubtedly been the most impressive. It looks like you've almost, the 3 months have almost benefited you in a way, because I think the last game before lockdown was a defeat, wasn't it, to Man United? So I think you've really benefited, in my opinion. I think you look so fresh, so fluid already. Some players already looking really strong. In particular, we can talk about the obvious names like Kevin De Bruyne or Bernardo Silva, but I think Phil Foden has really come to the fore in these recent games. What is it about Phil Foden that makes him such a unique and special talent that excites so many Man City fans?
Yeah, I'll talk about Foden and also get onto why I think it's benefited City as well. But with Foden, because I do have strong reasons why I think it has benefited City more than other teams. But with Foden, well, as you guys know at the moment, it's fun seeing one of your own come through, basically. It just is fun. And it's especially fun when they have all the tools to go to the very top of the game. And we've watched Foden now being kind of slowly teased into the team. I mean, I think he was first on the bench randomly at the back of 2016. He's been around Manchester City's squad for some time now and slowly kind of getting there and there and there. And he's a special, special talent. He's a really exciting footballer. And I think what's most exciting is because he really could reach the very top. We're talking about a guy who he seems to have the movement and the grace and the ability to find space, potentially, of someone like David Silva. Then we saw the other day the pass he played, the kind of reverse no-look pass he played to Bernardo Silva, then he squared across to David Silva for I think it was City's fourth goal. That was pure Kevin De Bruyne. Then we're seeing that, and then we're seeing him ping one in from 20 yards, or then follow up at the back post to put another one in. And he's a goal scorer. He gets assists, and he can glide through the middle past 2 or 3 people. You look at a guy who basically can almost control the ball and move the ball like David Silva, can potentially pass like Kevin De Bruyne, can glide through midfield like, as the joke is, the Stockport Iniesta, which they get called, which is a bit of a meme. But I mean, obviously, you're not going to say you're going to reach those levels, but he seems to have everything to his game as an attacking midfielder, and that's why Manchester City fans are excited. And also because, to be honest, and once again, you'll know like this as a Chelsea fan, it is nice having £50 million players or whatever, but sometimes you do crave something with a little bit more humility, I guess. And I've always been a big fan of watching the academy teams, because I think there's something about academy football that's it's a lot more pure. There's less of the egos, there's less of the Sky bullshit that comes with football or whatever, or the BT Sport bullshit. It's just good footballers playing football with no diving and none of the kind of theatrics and all that kind of stuff. And when you see a player like that come from that kind of background break through, it's kind of really pure, if that makes sense. It's just like, it's a nice antidote to all the kind of unpleasantries of modern day football, because football these days can be really, really soulless. It can be really detached, and players are really detached from the world in general these days. But then you get stories of Phil Foden, who is possibly the nicest young lad. Like, he really is. All he wants to do is go fishing afterwards. He goes fishing with his dad, and he walks around the streets just having a kickabout with kids locally and stuff like that. I mean, it's just so humbling to hear that. He's a nice guy. He's living Manchester City fans' dream. He's proven that talented young players can break into a team of world-class stars. And it's just refreshing. And I've loved watching Manchester City be brilliant. I've loved watching Manchester City have all these world-class stars. But watching a young kid come through, well, it just does mean more, doesn't it? It means more watching Tammy Abraham score, or Mason Mount, or Callum Hudson-ODOI, or Tomori, or whatever. It means more for you guys. I know it does. And it will definitely mean more for Barcelona fans, having won what they did with that La Masia generation. And if we get someone like Phil Foden and hopefully one or two more, it's like the cherry on the sweetest of cakes. It really is. Like, you've got this incredible team, but then you got like that. One of our own did it as well. And back quickly to Manchester City. The reason I think City have adapted so well, by the way, is because I think the teams with the strongest identity, when how they play is so ingrained into their mentality and their psyche, will be the ones who pick it up quicker. And I think Manchester City, everyone knows how Manchester City play. They've got such a strong identity with players who are at the top of the game, who's so professional and know exactly their roles at all times because of a coach who's so fastidious and so focused, that I think Manchester City is second nature to them. And obviously we're benefited by the strength of our squad in general. But I think City's style, it's like, how you'd never forget how to ride a bike and whatever. It's the same for Manchester City with their style. Where, for example, Arsenal, they're learning how their style is under Arteta. So it's 3 months off for them was a step backwards, because they've only started to learn those lessons, where City have had those lessons for 3 years now for Guardiola. So I think that's been a big thing for us.
I definitely agree. Sort of that muscle memory and something that Pep has been working on for so long now at City, that I think it's worked so well for them, and I think it's a bit ominous for the rest of the league, to be honest, because I get a sense that City could, if the Champions League ban remains and it doesn't get the appeal doesn't get overturned, and I think you could be favourites for the league next season. Absolutely, I think there'll be a motivation maybe within City to win the league again.
If City aren't in the Champions League and they don't win the league next season, it's a huge failure. There's no excuse not to if City aren't in the Champions League, because I'm hopeful on that, of course. But it's still the minimum I would expect is an incredible Premier League season, if so.
Yeah, definitely. Now, going into the game, of course, our first encounter this season, as long ago as it was now, in a very different world when fans were in the stadium back in, I think it was November, a really narrow 2-1 win for Man City. Chelsea played well in parts of that game, but the quality of Riyad Mahrez and De Bruyne really took the game away from Chelsea. What are your expectations for the game tomorrow? Of course, very different circumstances regarding maybe things you feel about Chelsea that could be a threat to Man City, things you want to see from Man City going into the game.
Because that game does seem like a lifetime ago, doesn't it? You remember you starting pretty well there, but as I said, I think City's quality and Mahrez, I think he had to go away cut between two people, wasn't it? And he fired it in, and then I think it was got a deflection as well for De Bruyne's goal. Was it a deflection? I think it was. But either way, I remember feeling like at the time we probably over the course of 90 minutes we started to edge that and probably deserved it. And we had a little bit too much quality, and I'm expecting this to be the tightest game City have had so far. I'm still confident for the reasons I said, but not to be disrespectful to Chelsea. I just feel City, the other day, they literally changed 7 or 8 players. I can't remember how many it was, but we have such a ridiculously strong squad, and I can't complain. I am aware how lucky we are with that. That I feel like, Kevin De Bruyne didn't start that game. Sterling didn't start that game. Laporte didn't. Who else didn't? There was no Gundogan. There was no Mendy, no Walker. We basically changed a lot of players, and I suspect all those will come back in. And I think we'll be fresh, and I think we'll be ready for it. And we've had the benefit of an extra game compared to Chelsea. But we are missing one guy who tends to love having fun against you guys, Aguero. Aguero's got an incredible record against Chelsea, so that's going to be a big blow because he's always good for a goal, usually against you guys. But then I guess, once again, we're lucky because we have Gabriel Jesus, who's not exactly lacking any ability either, so he'll be stepping up. But other than that, Chelsea are good. You're good. Mason Mount is the kind of guy I can imagine scoring a goal. Or, even you got Giroud popping up scoring the other day, and then you've got loads of very good players. I suspect they'll be really up for it. You've got some talented youngsters. I think I'll fear Chelsea is probably exuberant under Lampard, because I like Lampard. I like the way the Chelsea play. It's a little bit naive, I would say, at times defensively, but you are good going forward. I do think City are a more polished, refined version. That's not to sound disrespectful, which I think is just probably a fact, if we're being honest. But you have got players who will do some things. It's the kind of game where I can imagine someone like Pedro scoring against us. It has that vibe to us, and I'm always very cautious. I do think you'll probably score at some point. But I'm still pretty confident about Manchester City. However, if it was next season, you had all your signings coming in with Ziyech and Werner, I'd feel a lot more unease, I guess. But I'm still pretty confident, but I'm expecting a closer game than the 2-1 Manchester City have had so far. I'm still feeling like a City win, but it won't be like a 3-0 or 5-0 like it has been in the other games for City.
Yeah, I agree. I still, defensively, that's my biggest concern with Chelsea at the moment. And I think, as we saw in the game in November, it's that quality and sort of, as you were just elaborating with Man City about your sort of style of play, how refined it is and how sort of uncertain Chelsea are. I think that may be the difference in the game. But Chelsea have proven this season, we beat Liverpool recently. We can show up for some big performances under Lampard. So that's, of course, my hope going into the game.
So you've got a good midfield as well. So, Kovacic, Kante and all that. And you've obviously got Loftus-Cheek back as well. But yeah, sorry. Carry on, mate. I just said you've got a good... You should feel confident.
Yeah, I agree. I think it will be a good game, and I think Lampard likes to play progressive football. He's not a manager, even if he does set up maybe with a 3 at the back, he's not going to play defensively. He wants to attack, which I think for a neutral point of view will make it a very entertaining game. Just a quick score prediction, if you want to give one for the game tomorrow.
I do think City will win. I'm sure your viewers will probably disagree, but I think it'll be close. I'm going to go for 2-1 Manchester City again, actually. I think I think City will probably control the large spells of the game. But I don't know, someone Pedro or Willian will pop up and score. And I think it'll be close at some point. I'm going to go 1-0 City, 1-2-1 City.
Cool. So. Yeah, I think I'd out of hope, would go for a sort of reverse of that, maybe a 2-1 Chelsea. I think it will be very difficult for Chelsea. And as was proved last season under Sarri, when we beat you guys, that was a really, I did not see that win coming. It was a very difficult win. We had to sit back and had to basically be perfect in our attack. So I think Chelsea are going to have to be similar tomorrow night. But thank you so much, Steven, for coming onto the channel and having a good discussion about the game. As I do with all my guests on the channel, I like to give them the opportunity to shout out where people can find your work online. So I'll give you the opportunity to do that now before we wrap up.
Yeah, I make Manchester City videos at the channel. EsteemedKompany, company with a K. It's a terrible pun based on City's former Manchester City captain, Vincent Company, of course. And my Twitter, Steven Mcinerney, is also EsteemedKompany on Twitter as well. I'm sure that I'll probably be in the comments below, so you can go find my channel if you want just good, honest, non-over-the-top Manchester City football talk, really, I guess. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I suggest going checking out Steven's content because I do watch it. I'm a subscriber to his channel, and it's not as biased. I think that's the thing I love about watching opposition YouTubers, really diving into their clubs and seeing what they think of football. So links for all of Steven's work will be in the description box below, so definitely go and check his work out. But thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button and a notification bell so you never miss an upload. Follow me on Twitter @SonOfChelsea. Have a great day, and I'll see you again.